Today I wanted to talk about trade-offs. No matter where you are in life, there's always going to be trade-offs that you have to make. There's never really such a thing as a one-size-fits-all solution or a silver bullet. Rock beats scissors, which beats paper, which beats rock. And you have that triangle that goes round and round again. I guess triangles don't go around, but you get the idea. You can't really say one of the three is technically the most superior because they are all very evenly balanced. Okay, well, if you're not a kid anymore, maybe perhaps you've moved on to college. And in college, there's a joke that says you must choose two out of the three, and the three being grades, social, and sleep. There's only so many hours in a day, so you can only do so many things, and you can't really do them all. So you typically pick two out of the three to kind of focus on. Maybe not completely ignore the last one, but you might give, let's say, 0.8, 0.8, and just 0.4 as an example. Perhaps you've graduated from college and you're now working and you have your own place. Well, with your own place, did you buy or did you rent? And there are trade-offs to both as well. So if you buy, you own the place, which is nice because you don't have to pay rent. You can build equity in your home. However, you do have to pay property tax. You do have to maintain your home. There's a lot of effort that is required in order to properly maintain your home to keep it in good condition. Whereas if you rent, hey, yeah, sure, you're not building any equity in it, but you don't really have to worry too much about the property itself because you're not the one that owns it, in the sense that you don't have to do as much maintenance in that sense. You're more flexible, you're not as tied down, you can kind of leave anytime that you want. Well, lease, of course, but not as illiquid. In if you own the place and you wanted to move, you would have to either liquidate your property that you have, and so that way you can move on and so forth. But you kind of get the point. There's tensions in both sides. You kind of pick and choose which advantages and which disadvantages you're willing to take. Moving far, far, far later into life, and I haven't exactly gotten there in my life yet, but I've just, from what I've observed with my family and other families as well, once you start having a family, have a kid and a spouse and maybe multiple kids and so forth, you probably still have a job, and now at this point you will probably have to make the trade-off between how much do you want to advance your career versus how much time you want to dedicate to your family. And that's also not an easy trade-off to make, because sometimes you might really want to advance your career so you can put your family in a better financial position perhaps, but on the other hand, you might want to also give support to your family to make sure that everyone is emotionally happy with each other. So it's a tough kind of mix to deal with. There's never a one-size-fits-all solution. You're always picking something over something else, and that's just the fundamental principle of trade-offs in life. So with all these trade-offs, it can sometimes be difficult to make a decision, and the key really is to evaluate the trade-offs and look at the pros and cons of each side. Sometimes there might not only be just two sides, there might be even more sides than that, and look at what advantage you're really hoping to gain and what disadvantage you're willing to tolerate. And at the same time, make sure you know which disadvantages you are not willing to compromise on. And it can really be a tough decision, and it's not always very straightforward. There are guidelines to certain decisions that you can make, but it's, again, not always all-inclusive. But that's kind of what makes life interesting, is you gotta go into the nitty-gritty and look at all these details and find the best trade-off that works specifically for your scenario, because what works for me might not work for you. It might, but it might not. You really never know. It's very, very individualistic. Alright, that's all I have for you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, please smash that like button and consider subscribing. As always, if you have any comments, just feel free to let me know down below, and I will see you next time.